Alright, after a computer breakdown, the holidays, and several days of panic-inducing delivery up until February, which eventually got all the way till April, I finally get back to writing another review. And today has Neil Breen on the docket. Okay, time for Red Letter Media setup. Like most people, Neil Breen was some random bad director until one fateful day. An episode of Best of the Worst, a YouTube show about bad films, starring Super Gremlin Max Landis, which was not known at the time, so let's move on, had 3 movies on the table, 2 old-ass films, and 1 more wildly, way more recent film. Double Down, a thriller written, directed, starring, and / everything else by Neil Breen, a filmmaker out of Las Vegas. From what I can tell, the man hires actresses based on his tastes, writes scenes about him being intimate with them, cleanly though, of course, then writes a movie around that, and then charges you $30 for it. My sister loves these types of movies. So bad it's good. I enjoy them for the shit show, but I don't really like financially supporting them while they're still actually making the films. But at the end of the day, I have a gift from my sister and a review for you goblins. After that Double Down nomination as Best of the Worst for that episode and Serious Prices garbage, Neil Breen grew in popularity almost overnight. After that day, I would see more and more of him until other critics also started talking about his work. But one of these cursed films has had way less representation in the critiquing business, and I feel I should rectify this. This is Pass Thru. The film starts with a series of shots that plays almost exactly the same in each of his other movies. But I'm not going to show the other ones in this scene because I don't have them on hand at regular basis, so just trust me. We see an orange dot as it appears in the intro shots. We then see a series of shots that aren't really related to each other because he uses a lot of stock footage, including the Las Vegas desert, a caveman, a tiger, clocks, and the title. Grade A garbage. I'm back in my element. Alright, let's go back to the caveman. So this caveman, in quotations, just dealt with Saber-tooth hairball, right? That's why it looks like he shoved his hand down a shower drain, right? Breen? Also, if you can't really tell, there's a massive increase of his own type of footage using a drone. Glad to see him upgrade his filmmaking arsenal. We then see several people walking with purpose as they are trying to cross the border, as we will discover later. Well, I say discover, but he doesn't really... He assumes that you can figure it out immediately, but you can't. Okay. Anyway. We are brought to a room that is definitely not the same room he uses in each of his films because it's got kid toys in it. And astronomy stuff. I used to own stuff like that actually. But, regardless. We see the same room from a different angle. So it's a different room with a new kid between 2 shots of people walking. These plots are so connected. We then see Neil Breen picking up trash and the orange dot again. The kids from the shot with the rooms appear again, saying that they've sensed the dot. It's like calling a signal until it disappears off a radar or something. Honestly, I've not fully sure on this one, but we can't stick here. This is like 10 minutes into the movie. Forgot how messy the starts of his movies are. A bunch of setup for things he's planning on bashing into your head with a mallet named Kyle. Kyle Subtle, that is. It's like David Cage with less money or Kojima on bath salts. One of the things I learned very quickly on watching his films is I kind of understand how Breen writes, as he is both writing it as he goes and uses a single draft for the basic plot, with adding some ADR when needed to explain something missed, or basically what I've actually been doing for these reviews for the most part. Sometimes I forget to write something till the very end, then I'm like, oh look, I discovered something, and I go back and scribble in the thing. It's usually during the editing phase. And then I'll be the type of thing, like, actually, my upgrade review, I mentioned 2019 when I'm pretty sure the movie came out in 2018. I'm sincerely sorry, but, you know, that's fucking pocket change. But anyway, of course, I also watch a lot of trash, so it could just be me understanding bad writers. God, put your movies on YouTube, brain. It'll be more willing to buy them then. It takes like fucking like 3 weeks to fucking get it out here. Okay, actually, movie checkpoint time. So the kids and this adult discover the orange dot because they are astronomers in a astronomy club or something like that. They don't really heavily go into specifics. Neil Breen's first, you heard me, character is a guy that is given drugs to clean up the path that the human traffickers take to move people through. That dot is a signal from space. Got it? Back to the film. Neil Breen overdoses by dropping the drugs onto his arm. Must be the really strong stuff. Can I get some? I'll dilute it and I'll probably get still fucking high as shit. The orange dot appears and possesses a copy of his body. Alright then. Who even copied the heroin tube? Okay. We then cut back to the kids, who act like totally normal children.
Hey, it's me. Have you written any songs lately?
I've been working on a couple new songs, and I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, I've written like 2 or 3. Yeah, I feel good about them. Yeah, you should come over and listen to them next time.
I honestly can't tell if they are bad actors, the writing is unworkable, or Breen's just shit as a director as well as a writer, or if it's just a combination of all three of those. Like a sucker punch into a meat grinder which spits your body up into a fryer. It's honestly a little impressive at times he can make film this bad. Wonder if I could pay him to remake Cats with 1/10 of the budget. That would be really funny. Sorry, got distracted by how bad the dialogue was. I forgot what they were saying. Which president shouldn't I kill?
Cheats, thieves, criminals, liars, abusers, corruptors.
Got it. Nixon. Wait. I think I passed out. The kids are talking to each other because they have music that they want each other to listen to. This plot is dropped like whenever the day after Easter, the chicken that your mom got because it was so goddamn adorable decides to poop into your father's coffee. And on the rug. And everywhere. Moving on. A bloody hand grabs some barbed wire. I can't tell if it's symbolism or if my brain has just given up. We cut back to the traffickers putting people in a tube. Alright. And all the extras should have stayed quiet. It hurt my head less. And I will now show you, unedited, the next scene. In the astronomy professor's hospital room that looks exactly like the room from each of Neil Breen's films, so I'm going to assume it's Breen's house, the professor gets a call that doesn't go anywhere, so let's get back to the drugs crossing the border. That's right, of course he talks about drugs in this fucking movie.
How many months pregnant are you?
7.
Oh, really?
This is for the politicians. This is for the stockbrokers. Pimps.
Bankers.
The CEO. The lawyers.
International bankers.
The resistance.
God damn. Looks like David Cage took over this section of subtlety. And for writing villains, want this woman to kick a puppy while she's shooting children and their grandmothers? Two of the smuggled people escape while the rest get locked up in vans, but don't try to escape even though no one's aiming pistols at them at that time and they're just banging on the door. And they're not the same van at all. No further questions, Your Honor. I guess that Brain has evolved from using computers that don't work to vehicles that don't, because it looks like an abandoned van that had a baseball thrown at it to scare the bums away. The two escaping smuggled people, as I'll call them from now, stop to explain their relationships as niece and aunt. Guess mother was too unbelievable? Won't stop Brain though. As we see the women get locked up in a separate truck from the men, you can see that A, the niece is playing two people, B, that Brain was going to use this footage earlier than forgot, or C, the niece had a twin and the aunt chose not to save that one. But wait, the aunt is here too. Is this a dream? Death? Bad editing? Ignoring continuity? Cerebral? But Neil, it really doesn't help that you have them push on the door so lightly when you could have positioned it better and had someone point some guns at them. There's like dead space right there. The rule of thirds is for the important characters, not so that you never put something in that corner. Dot Neil, as I'll call him until he gets an actual name, walks around to find a good place to piss, and that piss is so good he assigns to a higher plane. That plane being the one that we saw earlier with the tiger and everything. He puts his hand on the manual override switch and some stock footage of a tiger in snow is shown. I'll assume the same one as the other tiger because... let's just assume so that we can move on, please. Thank you. We then see the newest addition to the Neil Breen arsenal.
I am artificial intelligence from far in the future. I have come here to cleanse the human species of their failings and decline. For they are far too weak of spirit and intelligence to do it themselves.
Got a bit of a messiah complex, eh, Breen? The astronomy kids go out into the desert area without the eccentric boot and saddle owning professor. Okay, hold on. Who gave fucking Breen a copy of M. Night Shyamalan's All Characters Are Just Quirks? We cut back to the smuggled group that's just men being kept on a bus, then back to the aunt and niece, then back to the other group of smuggled people being kept in a meth house. God damn it. It's like there's literally nothing happening for like the first... Like, this is 20 minutes into the film. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be like 15 at most. Actually, it's probably like 5. I don't know. It's not going to be that far into my own review of it. And nothing's fucking happening at a fast enough rate. It's just a mess. God damn it, Breen.
Let's go. Get in there. Move.
Home. In all seriousness, is Neil doing okay? Because I'm pretty sure this is the same house he also films in. Because this looks like just the room that the boodle... This is another room in that house that the saddle professor was at. And just like put like a bunch of meth beds on top of the walls. Anyway, the most emphatic actor appears as our main trafficker, saying that she now owns the traffic people. Or, In other words, Neil Breen doesn't understand how human trafficking works.
You belong to me. You ran away and tried to escape, and now you are mine. Don't even think about trying to sneeze without asking permission.
And now we get to the most clippable sequence. It's the hardest to guess also, but I think I can explain it. Amanda, the aunt I mentioned earlier, along with her niece, Kim, have been running for some time until they run across Orb Breen, who tries to offer his unmoving RV as shelter, and he offers to clean it.
You and your niece stay in my place. I'll stay in the car up front.
No, we can't stay here.
It'll be fine. I'll clean it up.
There's no way in
worry
hell
about
we
it.
can stay here. No.
You have to trust me.
Stay here.
I'll clean it for you.
Oh my God! What are you doing? How did I get here? Oh my goodness! What is this? What are you doing? Oh my God!
It's clean. It's all clean.
You know, there's sometimes I think Neil Breen is self-aware, and then I just see scenes like this, and I know the truth. The tuna has gotten to his head. Comfortably living in this lovely chateau with its nice wicker furniture, we cut back to the smuggled people who start admitting why they chose to be smuggled. Glad to see Neil isn't a complete piece of reused trash.
I was weak. But I've learned that we can all of us, can be strong and get through these hard times.
I hate the politicians in my country. They are so corrupt. They persecute my family. They killed my husband.
I'm pregnant.
Hostile encounters start occurring on the bus and the meth house. Neil walks around the desert more, and nothing really progresses. There's been another 20 minutes that have passed, by the way, since the last time I mentioned it. It's just a bunch of random just scenes that happen together. Well, there's one thing that happens. One of the smuggled women dies of autoerotic asphyxiation, and more drone footage. Like, legitimately, there's not much that happens. And then, when all of a sudden everything starts happening near the end, it's just such a fucking mess. Also, why did they cast the niece to be so old? It's really distracting, especially since it seems like she's supposed to be being played by, like, a 7-year-old or something. I don't know.
Don't come near me. I'll kill you, you fucker.
I won't hurt you.
What you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best. 'Cause
A montage of images where Amanda and Orb Brain seemingly bond by folding some towels that are about as old as the car in this scene.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Orb Brain gets asked by Amanda what his name is. Response?
My name is Till. It's spelled T-H-G-I-L, but it's pronounced Till.
I see this working out perfectly, Phil, but I've gotta go hang out with my friends Erit, Yensid, and Gulptub. Let me know how it works out, though, Phil. More Neelisms are spoken as Thil becomes a top for far too long for me to want to show you its actual length, which is longer than it needs to be. The kids from earlier appear in the movie like a fucking brick through a window, along with that boot-owning professor, to track down that signal that they were trying to find earlier. Sorry, I completely forgot what they were doing for about 20 fucking minutes. They walk across, I think the Thil that I believe they're walking across Thil, but it looks like the other body of Breen, the one that's the meth head that died at the beginning of the movie. But they don't really say one way or the other. It's just a concept that Breen keeps, and it's weird and wild, and I hate it, and I want it to die.
What's on your face?
Oh, I guess it's dirt. I think I slept on the ground last night. In the dirt.
I'm glad that in Breen's future movies, he doesn't have to shoot in the desert anymore. Now he's got the local community college to shoot on. Looks like everything's going all Breen. Kim finds an old piano and attempts to play it, but Magic Phil makes it work. That's the whole scene. You're making this really hard, Breen.
Ready?
Amanda figures out the fucking obvious and immediately assumes he's magical instead of just a creeper that doesn't want to keep his actual name on the record. All right, I give up, Breen. Just take me on a cheap effects budget, and that's just a reverse shot. All right, got nothing better to do in this fucking apocalypse. Let's bring out that fucking tiger. Yeah, fucking tigers. Drone footage. Yet again. And Breen goes on a rant about how behind we are as a species.
Humans are delusional in the self-importance they think they have. They're a mere primitive speck in the multitude of universes. They have nothing to offer us. There's no reason for us to visit them.
And while I agree with it in concept, application is its own horse. And to explain its powers, he does the fucking Event Horizon explanation on a hose. Fuck yeah, he doesn't know science. Bring back that fucking tiger. Yeah.
Many things are going to change now. I'm going to eliminate hundreds of millions of the human species. I am going to kill them immediately.
So genocide is on the table. What the fuck am I supposed to say? Okay, we're in a newsroom, alright? Alright, move on.
We're constantly putting out our own corporate slanted news, half-truths, putting our own spin on it.
We're just as biased and prejudiced in how we present the news as the public is.
You're subtle as a Molotov, Breen. That seems your style, and people just start despairing. He even turns the smugglers into a fade effect and tells those smuggled to fuck off. He wants their bus. The overactor tries to beat Phil in an act-off, but Brain hits him with a mega ban for fail RP, and tells the people to go fight those who Phil has already destroyed. No, moving on. We're almost done. The two groups meet up just as they get to the border, and the fence rebuilds itself while Phil goes to Zillow to blow up some billionaires that are so corrupt.
I know companies that can hack into any government, national agency, or corporate facility. For the right price, you can get any information that you want. And they don't need to know why or your reason. These places are so vulnerable and unprotected. And there is no way they can keep up with the technology.
Isn't that corrupt? If it can be destroyed by the truth, it deserves to be destroyed by the truth.
The news reports on more disappearances while Phil creeps around Amanda, who has a tiger tattoo. So of fucking course we move on, no further questions. Phil destroys the news to spew his own propaganda.
And there can be no further advancement. The turning point is now. There are genetic and psychological limits to the primitive human species. And you have reached those limits.
Alright, time to cut around. This is like 5 minutes of footage that I would love to upload in its entirety. However, not only for respect of Neil Breen, because I also don't like getting in trouble for copyright infringement. I don't think he'll go after me. I'm just some random fucking guy. I'm not fucking Cool Cat. I'm not covering that fucking movie. Fuck. What's his name again? Savage? I don't know. Moving on.
The glorification of violence and corruption, as well as political correctness and the fear of the truth, has ruined the human species.
The kid detects the signal again. The kid from the beginning that's not been given a name. You know, that one, who's like one of the first characters we meet. He's still not got a name. The Kim summons the professor to the desert while Kim wanders off. Phil gives the astronomy kid diamonds while Amanda panics about Kim wandering off. They wander around a cave tour for a little bit until they find a soldier with PTSD hanging out with Kim who made the ghost legends so that everyone would fuck off.
I'm a good person. I've never hurt anyone. I just want to be left alone.
Alright then. Breen cures the PTSD. God fucking damn it. Like, he's done this before. His character magically cures whatever. He'll cure cancer, cure PTSD, all that shit. Breen cures PTSD while reviving the kid that died at the very beginning. Charles, Amanda's boyfriend that's not been mentioned before, but we'll move past that, comes the fuck out of nowhere and just kills Amanda and Kim. But that means nothing to the retcon ghost of Neil Breen. He'll bring them back no matter the cost.
Don't shoot. You can't hurt me. Come back.
A bunch of unrelated shit happens until Breen walks through a field of the same copy-pasted corpses.
Primitive humans must continue the cleanse in order to survive as a species.
And Breen says you should kill evil people. Insightful, Breen. But, unfortunately, that is the end of our adventure with Breen. And I completely understand why my sister loves his films and why he just released a $160 5-hour film on his creative process. Not a documentary. A 5-hour How to Breen. But that's for another time. And for whenever I actually have money, because I'm not spending $160. Thank you for watching during this time. I really appreciate it. And special shout out to Adam from your YMS. Your Movie Sucks. He was the first person I actually saw that covered this, while Red Letter Media I heard about after. And it's been interesting, to say the least. I've watched this movie several times now. I understand it. I've watched it more than I've actually watched something like Avengers Endgame. So it's the type of thing where it's like, I am disappointed in myself. I'm going to continue being that, but I understand this movie. Oh god, that is super depressing. Alright then, moving on. Next time. I think it's time to cover auteurs in the video game industry. Because I've talked about David Cage in the past. But what if Cage was uncaged? What if I take two geniuses, one I like, one I hate, talk about their magnum opuses, their tour de force, their unchainedness. I think it's time for a... I don't have actually a name for this segment. I'm just gonna fucking put them head to head and just have them... next time, I'm putting Death Stranding against Omikron, the Nomad Soul. Special thanks, as always, goes to Adrian, or that one nerd Noel, or Smash TV, whatever he's doing right now. He's going back into the creative force. So I'm gonna link whatever he gives me. He's got a podcast now. I think I'm gonna be on it at some point. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna shill the fuck out of that guy, because he does still believe in me, and I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Xavier Poli, as always, for the music. I honestly don't really have much to say. You can hear the music there. I mean, the music should be playing right now, so you'll hear it for yourself. He's got other tracks. He's done good remixes. And I'm pretty sure he's willing to sell you his music if you fucking pay him.